guys, so everybody in Algebra should be focusing on this. This is the digital practice test for those 7 questions that I am putting in to the test to kind of make it a little less time consuming. So I want everybody's attention up here. This is question number 1. And if you did not have me yet today, you have not learned this lesson, but that's okay because we're still going to go over it. You're going to get it twice. The equation of a line is y equals, this is number 1.
No,
Yes, this is the digital practice test.
Oh, that's what
It's the 7 questions that I added to the test, or it's 7 questions like this. Go to the module that says practice test materials.
Isn't it at the very bottom?
Yep, at the very bottom.
And then also at practice.
And then it's practice test total 2.
Yeah, practice test materials, and then it'll say,
Numbers 2,
digital.
6, and 11.
not that one, that's the paper. The next one after that. Digital, does it say digital? It should all be in this digital practice test. Okay, here we go. So, Stabler's over there. We have a line. We have an equation of a line. It says, what is the slope of a line that's parallel to it? What is the slope of a line that's perpendicular to it? Again, if you haven't had me in class yet, this is going to seem a little confusing, but learn it here so that it seems really easy when you learn it today. The good news is we don't have to rewrite an entire equation. That's what we did in class today. The good news is all we need to do is identify what the slope would be if it's parallel to this line, and what the slope would be if it's perpendicular. So it's a 2-part question. Who was in my first period class this morning? Good. Answer this question. What is the slope of a line that's parallel to this line?
What is it to make it negative? Or is that
Show me 2 parallel lines with your arms. No, those are intersecting. Show me parallel lines. Good. So let's shift them a little bit this way, okay?
Oh, they're both net positive.
Okay, let's shift it this way.
Negative.
Okay.
Would you make it negative? They both have to like equal positive and negative.
No.
Like if one's negative.
Okay, look at my parallel lines here, okay? What do you notice about the slope of both of these lines?
It's the same thing.
They're exactly the same. They're in different spots because they have different y-intercepts. So I'll just go like this. I'll make a parallel line to this thing that I already have on the board, okay? They intersect the y-axis at different spots, but their slope is going to be exactly the same. So if it's asking you for the slope of a line that's parallel to this line, what's that slope? Let me ask you a question. What's the slope of this line?
7/9.
Good. Then what's the slope of a line that's parallel to it?
7/8.
Very good. 7/8. Just out of curiosity, do you guys have the same equation here?
No.
Oh, shoot.
I just put
But you do get it, that whatever your slope is, that's going to be your answer to the question about a line that's parallel to it. Parallel, the slopes are always matching. Now perpendicular,
The opposite.
it's going to be opposite in 2 ways.
So 8
You were in my first period, right? Do you remember what it was called? The opposite starts with an R. Abby, do you remember? Yes, very good. For a perpendicular line, the slope is going to be the opposite, the opposite, meaning opposite sign, and reciprocal, which means the numerator and the denominator switch spots. So let's switch the 7 and the 8 to be 8/7. But I also need the opposite reciprocal, meaning the opposite sign. So it'd be -8/7. And that would be the slope of a perpendicular line. Now in class, we also learned how to graph, we learned to write the equation of the line, of the parallel lines and perpendicular lines given a point. So that's really important, but this is an easier question. It's just asking you for the slopes of each of those. Do you guys understand? For parallel, it's going to be exactly the same slope. For perpendicular, it's going to be the opposite reciprocal. If this already had a negative, its opposite reciprocal would be positive, okay? So that's number one. Let's do number two. Okay, we're going to graph this line. It says use slope-intercept form to graph the equation y equals -3/4x minus 4. I'm going to do this example. You guys might have different examples, and that's okay. The process is the same. What is step one when we're graphing a line that gives us slope-intercept form? Yes? No, that would be standard form. Yes.
You have to find one.
Yeah, we identify the y-intercept. You actually don't even need to find it. You just look at the graph of the equation of the line and identify it. What is the y-intercept?
-2.
Good, it's -4. So step one is identify y-intercept. And since slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, b is our y-intercept, so it's -4. Remember, our slope-intercept is either going to be positive or negative depending on this plus or minus here. So our slope-intercept is -4, at least on mine.
Mine's -4 as well.
Good. I'm going to try to bring this down a little bit. Oh, it won't let me? Okay, I'll bring it to the side.
This wouldn't be it, 'cause it's 180.
Okay. So I'm going to graph my first point. Where should I graph it? Yeah, -4. That's my y-intercept. So my first point is going to be on -4. Then,
Did I look at your y?
because it's the y-intercept, yeah, it's where the line is going to cross through the y-axis. So now that we have our y-intercept, what can we use from this to find our next point? Good, our slope. So step one was identify your y-intercept. Step two was plot y-intercept on which axis?
I don't even know what happened.
The y-axis. Good. That's your first point. Okay. To get your second point,
Wait, why'd you put it there?
why did I put it here?
Yeah.
Because it's -4. At least on my graph.
Yeah, for her it is.
For me it is. Where whatever your y-intercept says, you plug it where your y-intercept goes.
Since the rise of going on is a negative, don't you go down and then go to the left?
To the right.
To the right.
Yeah. Because technically when the fraction is negative, only one of those numbers is negative. And it's you can either go down 3 and to the right 4. So we can go down 1, 2, 3 and to the right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that would be totally fine. Or you could consider this positive and that negative. So you could go up 3 and to the left 4. Up 3 and to the left. Oh, I'm sorry. Up 3 and to the left 4. Because technically this is my rise. So a -3/4, right? Where the negative is outside of the fraction. That is the same thing as -3/4, and it's also the same thing as +3/-4. Do you agree with that? Yeah. Now, generally, when we are doing slope, we usually just assign the negative to the numerator, go down that much, and then go to the right, however much the denominator is. That's the general rule. But if for some reason your point is already really low on the y-axis and you want to go the other way, You can say, well, instead of negative 3 over positive 4, I'll just do positive 3 over negative 4, and you can go rise 3, and if it's negative 4, you have to go to the left 4. See how the points all work on the line? So any way you slice it. I can go down, watch this, I can go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and over to the right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can make my point like that. Or, how do I delete,
It's also like super zoomed in.
whoops. How do I just delete my last?
Just click delete.
Oh no, it erased everything. Okay, I'll plot it again. My y-intercept was negative 4. Okay, so I technically could also go up 3, rise 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Either way, it's going to be correct. Are you guys with me? So to get your second point, use the slope, which is your rise over run. And double check. If your slope says it's a negative slope, make sure your line's going down. Don't make a mistake and do a positive slope by accident.
Just like,
Yeah?
can you look at mine?
You don't know if it's correct? All right, so you've got positive, okay, so it's positive 1 is your y-intercept, okay? Good. The slope says negative 8 over 5. So, since we're, okay, let's erase that. Just erase it. Delete. Okay. Now put your positive 1 again. Good. Now, it says negative 8 over 5. So let's go down 8 over 5. Since we're already up here, so let's go down. Okay? Good. And then go over 5. How do you know which way to go? We went down 8, so that was our negative.
Yeah.
We already used our negative. No, we already used our negative. So 5 is positive. It's going to go to the right. That's it.
So you see how this is a starting one and this is the same one as the answer to the first question?
Yeah.
So you can also reflect it across this.
No, right.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next question.
How does it look like this first answer?
This will be number 3. And it's just an exact same thing. Use slope-intercept form to graph this equation. Okay? So I'll get my graph. What?
How do you do that?
We just did it.
I know, but like it's not a fraction.
Okay, good question. It's not a fraction.
Oh wait, you put it over.
Very good. The slope, so our y-intercept
Right below it, yeah.
equals 5. Our slope
Okay.
equals negative
That's
5.
confusing.
If you need your rise over run, then put it over 1.
Oh, you think you can do it over and over, we're gonna do it again, then you have to do it another one.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Once you get your
Does that make sense to you?
change
If your slope is a whole number
it. I don't even know.
and it's not given to you as a fraction, put it over 1. You can put any integer over 1. And it doesn't change the value of it. Alright, so now we have our y-intercept. Let's graph. I've got positive 5 right there. And then I've got negative 5 over 1. So I'm going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops. Move that. And move it over 1.
This one. Okay.
Yeah.
It says negative 5x. Would that be on the bottom?
X and Y represent any point on the line. Your slope is only your number next to x. Y equals mx plus b. It's only your m, your number, that's your slope. Okay? Yes. Did you totally get that?
Yeah, but with my 4, it's 4 minus 5.
So I'll just go with the
with the 4 negative.
Would the y-intercept be negative? Absolutely. Yeah, you take the sign of whatever it is. All right, you should probably be able to get through 1 or 2 more questions. Yeah? What question are you on? On this? Okay, I'll get to it. I just did 2, right?
Now we just did 3.
Was that 3?
Yeah, that was 3.
Perfect, then we're gonna do 4 now.
But for
This
this
is talking about.
and like the y-intercept is 6, but then it goes down 6 and over 2. And I don't know if it wants me to reduce it or not.
Yes, you always reduce the slope. Yeah, 6 over 2 equals what?
How you're gonna change
3.
Good. You're missing something very important in your equation now. Very good. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to graph a line in slope-intercept form just by looking at the line. Okay? I'm going to make it nice and big here. So this is number 4. You need y equals mx plus b. You need your y-intercept and you need your slope. Step 1 is to find your
Slope.
Y-intercept.
y-intercept. Because once you pinpoint your y-intercept, then you can count your slope. Okay? So 1 is find y-intercept by looking at graph. By the way, I'm writing this so that when they're watching this, they can write this, and when you're watching this, you can write it right now. Find your y-intercept by looking at the graph to see the point where the line intercepts the y-axis. Does anybody see where my line intercepts the y-axis? Good, positive or negative? Good, so I have y equals mx plus 8. I'm halfway there. What's my next step to fill in the rest?
What?
Yeah, I'm not finding x, I'm finding my m. I'm finding slope, okay? And I can use my y-intercept point as a starting point. Then I just need to very carefully look and see where my line is going to give its next perfect intersection, okay? I'm not gonna try to count the slope to get to here, although it looks like a half. I'm not gonna mess with halves and slopes. I'm gonna count from here to this nice clear intersection, okay? So, is it rising or is it falling? Good, so the rise is not positive, it's going to be negative. So it's down to over positive 1, because it's going to the right towards a positive infinity. So our slope is negative 2 over 1, which is what? Negative 2. What?
Oh, negative 2.
Negative 2. That's my slope. Yeah. So my slope is negative 2. Does everybody understand how? You still don't understand that? Okay. Do you want me to just go through that again? Okay. Step 1, find your y-intercept. That means you look at your graph, you look at your y-axis, and find where the line intercepts it. And it very clearly intercepts it at positive 8. That means in slope-intercept form, where here's your slope and here's your intercept, we're going to replace b, which I don't know why represents the intercept. We're replacing it with positive 8. That is halfway done. We only need our slope now. When we go from our y-intercept to the next point of a clean intersection,
Oh.
I see one here. I also see one down here,
Like to see.
right? You technically could count all the way down. You could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's down 8. And to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's plus 4 because it's going to the right. So what's negative 8 over 4?
Oh.
What's negative 8 over 4?
1/2. 2.
Oh. What's negative 8 over 4? What?
1. It's 2 over 1.
No.
That's like
What's negative 8 over 4? Negative 2 over 1, which is what?
Negative 2.
Good, you kept saying 2.
I said negative 2.
I didn't hear any negative all up in here. Okay. Now, did I need to count all the way from here to this point? No, but you can because it's going to reduce down to negative 2. But I could also just count from here to my next perfect little clean intersection, down 2, which is negative 2, over to the right 1, which is plus 1. My rise is negative 2 over my run, which is 1, and that is also negative 2. So that's my slope. And so this is the whole answer. When they want the equation of that line, they want it to look exactly like that.
And then negative 4? So you just keep everything.
So that was 4. I have time to do another one. All right, does everybody understand that one now?
Is mine
Yeah, I can look at it.
What?
Oh, I didn't write the second step.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I definitely need to clean my board. I'll do that during lunch. Okay, so what's your y-intercept? Oh, you got it. It's positive 5. And then, to get to the next one, you went, yeah,
down.
okay. Right, so you
Took
went
me a second, I got
down
it.
5, but you put a positive 5 there. Okay, but also, you have it as negative 5 over 1. Can that be simplified? Yeah. These might have to be. Okay. Yeah. Because that's all about the y-intercept. Yeah, my board is really dirty. Sorry about that. Yeah. Oh, okay. I think I can just use like Clorox wipes, right? No, I'll just use Clorox wipes. I got plenty. It's all good. Okay. This is a big one, guys. This is a big one. Pay attention. It says, write an equation in point slope form. I don't want it. And it gives you the slope, and it gives you the point. Point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Do you have to have it memorized? No, it's on your EOC reference sheet. I'm also leaving it right here if you need help on your test. Okay, so what can we fill in? Everything, right? Everything we can fill in. Let's start with our slope because it's nice and clean. It's a 5. Okay, so our slope's going to be 5. What are my variables that are going to stay? What are my variables that are going to stay? They're going to stay variables.
Negative 4. No.
Yes.
Wait.
So my x and my y are going to stay. What are my variables that are going to get replaced? Yeah, y1 and x1. So y, you're going to stay.
Negative
X, you're going to stay. Now I have a point here that's a negative 2. I'm going to write it bigger. Negative 2, positive 1. This is my x and this is my y, or I should say x1, y1, right? Okay, so here's what's really, really important.
There's more?
Our x value is negative. This is so important. You need to protect it with parentheses. This has a minus sign in the formula. So we need a minus sign down here. But it's also, x1 has a value of negative 2. So we're going to put that in parentheses, -2. We'll take care of that in a second. Y, the y1 is positive, so we just do minus, just like in the form.
So it would be 6 negative
Positive
4,
1.
6 negative.
What needs to change before we can just say that this is final and done?
So like,
You need a.
Kill the cockroach and choose it.
Yep, we're gonna kill the cockroach and change the sign. Now, does the digital book, do they want you to write it in as x plus plus 2? No, what does that simplify?
X,
X
2x
plus
plus 2.
No, x plus 2. So our final answer is y minus 1 equals 5 times x plus 2. And that is your answer, okay? We're not trying to simplify anything. It wants it in point slope form. We give it in point slope form. Okay, so that was numbers 1 through 5. And we'll do 6 and 7 another time. Great job, everybody.
1.